president has to agree, and whatever the president wants to do, they have to get through Congress as well. So, look, this is as clear as mud in reality. It's good to have a Treasury Secretary who has a kind of a history of economics, some clearly articulated positions, some kind of firm foundations for holding those positions. Doesn't mean everyone will agree, but there's some science there as well. But that only gets us part of the way. I think there's a lot of room for things to flex as they work their way through Congress, and in fact the president's favour as well.
Clear as mud. You took the words out of my mouth. And we don't have USTR yet. We don't have that appointment, and therefore we are none the wiser about the contours of US trade policy as it applies to China. What's your best bet, Richard? And is it a stretch that we could be on the brink of another trade war?
Well, look, I think the first thing to remember is we haven't finished November yet. The president doesn't take office until January. Trump is much more advanced this time in his appointments than he was last time. So let's kind of be eager, but not too eager. And I worry that people are being a bit too eager, because things will only become clearer as the appointments get solidified and we just get a sense of the political pulse. But clearly there's no let-up in the US's focus on China, and that is a cost from a economic output perspective if you're looking at the world. But obviously, there's enough forces in the US that think that there's a win for the US in taking more activity back there. The markets have responded by saying, well, this is good for economic activity in the US. And of course, it is in a siloed sense. But if the US is already struggling to sustain inflation back at the Fed's 2% target band, a whole lot of tariffs and a whole lot of reshoring is going to make that task even more difficult. So there's probably a point at which markets need to price both sides of the story rather than just one.